Holy shit. Anthony Joshua got knocked out cold by Daniel Dubois. 2024 has been quite the year. All three of the heavyweight kings of, the last 6-7 years, all fell. All fell in 2024. Let's talk about it. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kicking It. Your host, Bando, and I am talking about this heavyweight matchup that happened earlier today. Anthony Joshua took on Daniel Dubois, and wasn't Anthony Joshua's night at all. Like I said at the beginning of this video, the three kings, the three heavyweight kings that we've been watching take over the division for the last 5, 6, 7 years, right? The three that we continuously wanted to see fight each other type of thing, all fell this year. Deontay Wilder gets knocked out and chooses to retire. Anthony Joshua just gets knocked out, dropped by Daniel Dubois in a very, very vicious way. And freaking Tyson Fury gets dropped by Francis Ngannou early in the year and ends up later in the year losing to Usyk. The heavyweight kings are falling. 2024 has been a crazy year in combat in general when it comes to people winning, people that you wouldn't expect to win. The underdog is taking over type of thing, and it's very unexpected. It's very unexpected. I had a feeling today with AJ that there was a possibility of him taking a loss to Daniel Dubois. I thought if the fight goes to decision, it's going to be AJ's fight, right? But I had not expected to go like that. First round, he gets dropped. Anthony Joshua gets dropped. Usually in a situation where a guy like Anthony Joshua gets dropped, when they get back up, the adjustments are made. They don't get dropped again. Not like they completely take over the fight, but they don't get dropped again, right? And the adjustments are made. And Anthony Joshua is usually one of those guys, gets dropped, gets back up, figures out the way to win, ends up getting some sort of decision, right? But it wasn't happening. From the first round on, once he got dropped, he was never the same. In the fifth round, when he got finished, right, he was throwing some good shots, had Daniel Dubois on his back foot backing into the corner, right, but had no patience, right? He kind of stumbled and wobbled, Daniel Dubois, but wasn't picking his shots, wasn't being patient. Didn't look like the typical Anthony Joshua that we're used to seeing, where he's a little bit more calm, a little bit more cool and collected, trying to find his shots instead of chasing. He looked like he was chasing, maybe chasing the finish, maybe he wanted to get out of there early, or maybe he felt more urgency was needed because he was dropped in the first round, whatever the case may be. But he went in, threw an overhand right, tagged Dubois, nice overhand right, went to engage again. And here's another thing, Joshua looked like he was just throwing from the hip type of thing, like he really wasn't putting his hands up, coming right down the middle, right, keeping the hands up where they need to be. Like, it just seemed like he was throwing, chasing shots, throwing off the hip and everything like that, and it wasn't working out for him. Now, I forgot to do a breakdown for this fight, right? I'm not even gonna lie, I kind of forgot this fight was happening, but it was during daytime anyways. I was at work, couldn't get a breakdown in, couldn't get any type of, I couldn't even watch the fight. But I really put a lot of focus this past week into setting up for that UFC event, the fight night between Benoit Saint Denis and Renato Moicano, thinking that it was going to be today when it's next Saturday. So I did this whole breakdown, set everything up, got these parlays, picks, everything ready for you guys, and it's not until next Saturday. So you'll get the video for next Saturday. But that's why I didn't come through with a video for this. But I'm definitely I had to come through with a review because it's so wild. Like I said, 2024, man, the big dogs are dropping. It's wild. You're seeing the underdog come through and get the win. Guys that you're not expecting to take over, guys you're not expecting to get the win, are getting the win, are putting on better performances than you expected if they don't get the win. You know, there's just a lot of craziness happening. and it's showing. It's showing that this is really the MMA and boxing are two of the most unpredictable sports. And if you argue that is shocking to me, because it is 100% the most unpredictable sport. You can believe any man is perfect going in there until they get clipped on the chin and everything changes, right? Everything changes. The first time Anthony Joshua got dropped, knocked out, lost was against Andy Ruiz, right? Not to say that he's never been the same since then, right? But that undefeated thing, it's not a thing no more. You know, like, and it's not even like he lost and then came back and went on another undefeated streak. No, he ended up losing some matches again. Lost those 2 to Usyk. Now losing to Dubois. You know, what's next for Anthony Joshua? The one thing I give props to Anthony Joshua is this ain't going to make him run away from the sport. This ain't going to make him shy away. It's not going to make him gun shy in the fight. Anything like that. He's going to come back the exact same way that you're used to seeing him box. The same old AJ. Big, strong, probably going to put a few things together that he didn't put together in this fight. Like I was saying, he was throwing shots from the hip, wasn't really staying up, wasn't throwing down the middle very well. So if he can just make a few adjustments, he's going to be good. And he is the type of guy to make a few adjustments and come back being a little bit better than he was before. But who does he fight now? Where do we go with this? You know, you got a bunch of different fights in the heavyweight division, but what's going to make sense, right? So obviously we got the rematch between Usyk and Fury. Right? I think that's happening in December. That's a huge heavyweight matchup that really does determine what can be going on. Because if Fury wins this fight, then you best believe that there's going to be a third fight down the line in 2025 between these two. But if Usyk gets the fight, closes this chapter, this Tyson Fury chapter out, you know, he moves on to the next, then you're probably looking at Usyk and Daniel Dubois. For Anthony Joshua, though, if Tyson Fury loses, is that the potential matchup sometime in 2025 because it's still a money-making matchup? Or is this one of those things where if Tyson Fury loses, he retires? Very, very big possibility as well. It's a very big possibility. A lot of big possibilities when it comes to that division. I mean, it's one of the most legendary divisions of the boxing game. You know, so a lot of things could happen. You have a lot of big contenders. You have, yes, I mean, you got Zhilei Zhang. I don't know, Zhilei Zhang. I don't really know how to pronounce his name correctly, but you got him, who's been an absolute monster, living up to his name, the Big Bang. He's knocking guys out like Deontay Wilder out like it was nothing. I mean, in my personal opinion, Deontay Wilder coming in there at 215 pounds wasn't going to serve him anything. It was going to give him zero help at all, and it gave him zero help at all. He had no power differential in that fight that was sitting Zhang back. Nothing at all. But he's a big name in the division. A lot of people want to see what's next for him. I think they did announce a matchup between him and Martin Bakole. So, another huge heavyweight matchup. Martin Bakole is about to be this guy who's kind of coming out of nowhere. Got that huge win over Jared Anderson. Nasty knockout win over Jared Anderson. Almost gave me a very, like, old school George Foreman style. Like, and I'm not talking about old school George Foreman. I'm talking about the return of George Foreman. Big, thick George Foreman, right? He was throwing those uppercuts without even freaking putting his hip into it. It was just boom, boom. Like Martin Bakole looks like he's got some pop in his hands. But I don't think anybody has an easy fight against Zhang. Ooh, you know what? Now it's a very good possibility that you could run for Anthony Joshua, Big Baby Miller. Now, you know, it's not really for no belt. It's a fight that was supposed to happen. It was a fight that happened, or the fight that was gonna happen when Andy Ruiz was the one that beat Anthony Joshua. So this is a great matchup. Hopefully, Big Baby comes in clean with no problem. They can make a good fight, put on a good fight, make some good money. You know, that could be Anthony Joshua's potential next matchup. You know, like I said, there is a lot of options in the heavyweight division. It just depends on where he's trying to go with it, right? If he tries to move himself over to the States a little bit to see if he can get some action over here. If he tries to put on a massive UK card with another UK opponent, somebody who's from, you know, the area or somewhere from surrounding areas of any sort, you know. But if he's going back to Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi, you know, wherever going out that way, it's gonna have to be a money-making matchup. So it's got to be somebody that makes sense, and I feel like Big Baby Miller can make sense because there's history there, right? They didn't get to fight, so there's history, a little bit of heat there. You can build something well and sell the fight. So I think that would be the next thing for Anthony Joshua. So basically for the heavyweight division, you got Dubois going to sit and wait and fight the winner of Usyk Fury, or however it may work. It might be Fury winning that and them running a third fight back. That means Dubois will be waiting for a very long time. I'm sure there's some sort of mandatory somewhere in his contract. I don't know who it would be right now, but I'm sure there's some sort of mandatory. Very possible that there was a rematch clause with the AJ fight. Who knows? But those are the options for Dubois. The options for AJ are, you have to fight a fight that is going to favor you in terms of looking like a boxing king, right? Just completely going in there, outboxing your opponent, not outpowering, no strength being involved, just purely outboxing him. Anthony Joshua needs an opponent like that. I think any of the two big babies would be fine. If you want to do it with Jared Anderson, that's fine too. But Jared Anderson needs to come back. He needs a big win too. The second they tried to push him a little too much and elevate him, he got shot back down. But he's still young. He's still got a lot of potential. So you got to give him some time. So maybe not Anthony Joshua just yet. But yeah, I think Anthony Joshua and Big Baby Miller would be a fantastic fight, though. Fantastic fight. But I don't know. Comment below what you think. What do you really believe the heavyweight division is gonna do now that the three biggest names in the heavyweight division, the three names that have been carrying the division for a little while now, all fell. And 2024 has been a year where they're all falling. So I'm concerned for Tyson Fury for December. Who knows if he could switch around? He could break the bad streak for these guys. But you know, Deontay Wilder's out. Anthony Joshua's accepting the loss. He's gonna come back. Tyson Fury, to me, like I said, if he loses this next fight, I bet you can see retirement coming. So it's wild, man, how things change. But there is always the passing of the guard. The old guard gets passed over by the new guard. It's how it happens. Look at the UFC right now. You know, if I don't know how many of you boxing fans or UFC fans, or if I'm getting just combat fans in general, but if you look at the UFC right now, there are champions that nobody could have predicted 5 years ago to be champions. Not even 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago. I would not have expected any of these guys to be champion, right? You got Dricus du Plessis as the middleweight champion. Bilal Muhammad is the welterweight champion. Merab Dvalishvili is your bantamweight champion. Raquel Pennington is the women's bantamweight champion. We have confusion in the heavyweight division because we have two champions, and really you got two champions. One's an interim champ, the other one's supposed to be the champ. The interim champ has defended his interim strap already. The heavyweight champ has never defended his belt. Light heavyweight is the most enjoyable, best champion we got in the game right now. The thing I'll give Dricus du Plessis is he's not my favorite fighter. His style's not my favorite or anything like that. But he can put on an exciting fight. But everybody else, it's a very, very, very strange strange lineup of champions right now. And seems like the same thing's happening in boxing. But like I said, the old guard always gets passed over by the new guard. And that's just how the game goes. That's how the game evolves. So that's where we're at right now in the heavyweight division. Going into 2025, what's going to happen is there going to be a turnaround for heavyweights. Is there going to be, you know, a whole new reign of 2 or 3 new big names in the heavyweight division, 3 new kings? Like, what's going to happen? I don't know, but I guess we'll wait and see. Boxing is always an enjoyable thing to get into in the heavyweight division. Can always keep your interest. So that's pretty much it for this episode. I feel like I don't do enough boxing episodes anymore. I got to come through with more boxing episodes. There's been a lot of boxing matchups recently. You know, obviously we talked about the Berlanga and Canelo fight. Talked about the Munguia-Canelo fight back when that happened. But we got to just start breaking more things down. So I'm going to come through with more boxing breakdowns and reviews soon. So make sure, if you enjoyed this, you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode is out. And I will catch you on the next episode. Your boy Bando is out. Peace.